Hey, this is Hans from Request for Music. The latest module that I've added to my FSynth bundle is the folder, and the folder comes in two flavors. It comes in the single version, as all of the other modules did, like the ADSR and the VCA and the COM module, and all of the ones that only had one module placed within that full size. So if I take that in, I've got both of them again. I had one folder like this, and the next one with a second folder into it. So it's up to you if you need less space and to be taken in your full module patch, and you need two folders like that. You can place this one in. Okay, so I'll take that one out. Going to explain only the one folder. And it's already a bit different from the one that is in the bundle at the moment. I've added some stuff to that, and that will be put into the bundle in a couple of days, hopefully, when it's approved by Cherry Audio. So first of all, what is a folder? Folder is a wave folder, actually, and a wave folder is the kind of way in which the West Coast synth style, so to speak, built sounds instead of the subtractive way that the East Coast works with. In the East Coast, you start off with a complex waveform like the sawtooth or a square wave or stuff like that, and you take all kinds of harmonics out by using a filter. And instead, you start off with a simple oscillator in this style. So I'll take an oscillator in, and at least I need a VCA because I need to be able to control it. So I'll take that in, and I'll take an ADSR in, so I've got something to work with. I'll put everything on the left side, and I'm going to put, well, I don't even need pitch at the moment, but I could have, obviously. So the chain would be that I take the output of my VCO into my folder, and at the moment I'm trying to get cable colors into a specific style, which means that audio signal, I use the light gray, which is almost the gray as the output knobs on all of my modules. So the light gray is going in there, and there's also audio coming out of this, which goes into the VCA, so change that to light gray as well. And then I need to have a gate, of course, and my gates are always in red. So I'll put the red gate in there, and there's a sort of a control voltage coming out there. So if I connect this, and this is not really gray, is it? So if I take a control voltage out, which comes out of the ADSR as being an envelope, I'll normally take this bluish color for that. So that's it. So that's hooked up, and I need to take this into my main output, of course. So I've got some sound which is just a rumbling low sine wave. I'll switch my VCA on, so or the way in which it handles the envelope. So now at least it does something. And as soon as I press a key on my keyboard, as I just did, you'll see that sorry. You'll hear it change accordingly. So I've got a very short attack, or no attack actually, no decay, all sustain and no release. So that means that it's just going open, and it's quite loud at the moment. So I'll take the gain down a bit. So something like this. So it's not responding to pitch, of course, so I'll take my pitch in. So I got sound, and the folder itself, what does it have? It has a mod knob, a second mod knob, and the mod is connected to the folder knob that is underneath, and a smooth knob that's underneath here. And then obviously there's a mix knob in the middle. And there's inputs. Inputs as well above. So the input here is going straight into modulation there. Input on the right side is going to the modulation on the right side, and those are connected to the knobs underneath. and there's a switch here that changes the type of the folding. So I'll take in an oscillator so you can see what is actually happening. There, Weevil's oscilloscope, which is always very handy. So I've got this, and I'll take my output signal off the folder straight away so you can see what's happening, and I'll take, or actually I'll put it into the second one. I'll put normal output on the first one, scale this up a bit so you can see what is happening. I'm only going to use the sine wave. So as said, that's the main difference between East Coast, West Coast kind of synthesis. So in this case, I use a normal sine wave. Sine wave is going in, and as soon as I change the folder, it's going to fold in on itself. So you see that the sine wave is transferring into something else at the moment. And the thing is that I have this mix knob in the middle, and the mix knob in the middle means that it's taking part of the original sine wave that is getting in, and it can go from the left to the right side. So first of all, let me put it to mix 100%, which is means it's going to take the complete folder signal and now change this. And you see that the folding is being done on that sine wave, and it has a level from 0 point whatever, so it means that there's only the sine wave coming through, up to I think it's 4. Yeah, 4 was the max that I've put in at the moment. You can actually change that by going into the modulation part again, but let's first see what happens in the sound. So first of all, take this out and we listen to the signal. Now I have a normal sine wave, and I start folding it. So again, sine wave, folding. So that means that I can also modulate this, and obviously if I switch this back to being controlled by my keys, I can still handle this. And so I get a really different sound. No filtering being done. It's just a straight sine wave transferred by the folder, or folded by the wavefolder that's in the folder module. So that's what happens. And then obviously everything that I do in here with an attack, decay, sustain, release is obviously transferred to the VCA output that's then being being given an envelope by the ADSR. So you get this kind of stuff. So what else is there? There's another kind of folding type in there. So let's first switch this back. And as soon as I, or turn this back to the sine wave output, as soon as I switch it to the other type, you get a different kind of folding. And as, let me make that a bit clear. If I look at this, I can actually see that in the first mode, the folding is being done on the upper part and the lower part of the sine. And in the second type, it's actually changing this into a full height waveform, and that really sounds different, as you will tell. If I go all the way back, it sort of mimics a square wave from all of this, and then it starts going on and on through all of those wave folding thingies, so to speak. So if I take this and first of all take the wave, so here the standard kind of wave folding, which starts off at a sine wave and then goes through the motions. And if I take the other one, it already has more harmonics in there. As you can tell, it sounds more bright with the other Foldr type because there's more harmonics in there. What else do we have? There's this smooth knob on the bottom. So if I take something like this, let's scale it up a bit more. So you see what the wave is getting to, or is becoming after the folding of the wave. So let's start smoothing this. So you get this kind of wave, which sounds less harsh, of course. So it's sort of filtering, but then again it's not. It's really smoothing the wave. And as you can tell, that's different and still gives you a lot of options with the sound of that specific folded signal. And apart from that, since you can still do a mix between the original sine wave and this, there's a whole lot of possibilities with the sound as well, even if I go to the other type. And then, since most of the time you want that Foldr sound to be changed over time, you could actually take, for instance, an ADSR. First of all, let's switch the VCA on, because so now it's listening to that sound, and let me take the mix to the other side and take a lower value in. But now I could do a couple of things. I could do I could take a standard LFO, for instance, and I'll switch off the library so you can still see enough of the oscilloscope. Let's take the a low frequency oscillator and put that into the Foldr modulation. So if let me see, let's take this off again, modulating it now has the same sort of effect as pulse wave modulation, but now of course it's modulating the Foldr, or the folding of that wave. So that could be any effect. The other thing is that instead you could put it into the smooth modding. So you can change that, and the latest option is that you put it into the mix, and the mix is actually now changing the mix based on whatever you put into the LFO, or into that entry, or in that input anyway. So what you could also do, for instance, is instead take for instance the ADSR itself. So if so now it's actually changing the wave folding by taking the ADSR signal into the modifier. So that might be a nice idea, and I could even, of course, so that could be nice. So yeah, that's typically the Foldr, and again, there's two Foldrs. If you take the Foldr X2, then you've got two. So you could even try to do stuff like taking the output of one Foldr, put that into the other, and see what happens. Not quite sure if it really gives you a nice result, but you can still do that. And actually, you could try this with other oscillators, or sorry, with other waveforms. For instance, if I take the triangle wave instead, it will still do the same kind of thing, which obviously gives you a different kind of sound. So if I take this out and first take a lower sound, you hear it functions the same way with all of the modulation on the wavefolder and stuff like that. But so let's first of all take this out. Folding with this, folding with a sine, folding with the triangle. Stuff like sawtooth might be getting a bit problematic. There's a lot of harmonics in there that will be getting harder to handle. And square waves are always a problem with this. You could try smoothing it out first. And the last one was the spaced sawtooth. So again. Anyway, there's a whole lot of wave shapes that you can get out of the module that way. So because even you could combine that, right? You could take the space sawtooth as well as the sine wave, which gives you a completely different kind of wave to start off with, and then start wave folding that. So you have something like this. So again, it's a matter of experimenting, and I think that's the main thing about West Coast synthesis altogether, because of it's not as easy to understand as what you can do with the East Coast style, where you have this normal oscillator which gives you all of the values out of that, all of the wave types, and you get that through or you take that through a filter and then combine that with ADSRs and stuff like that, which gives you different results, but can be a bit more predictable than the way that West Coast responds. So it's typically a lot of experimenting, but I hope you'll try that at least. I mean, if you have the bundle, you'll just find the folder with it. So time to experiment on that part. So I would say have a lot of fun, and I'll talk to you in a later stage. Cheers, bye bye.